Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, taken from the subreddit HFY. The links to all the stories will be down below, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. And if you do, please consider subscribing. Story number 1. Humans Are Failures, written by Hitching Post. Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome back to Book Talk, where we have an interview with authors concerning the recent works. And today we have Arnold Flandier, author of the best-selling Human Failure, How Humans Continually Screw Up Everything. Welcome, Dr. Flander. It's a pleasure to be here, Francis. So, your book, provocative title considering how many people consider the humans successful. In fact, as you know, many of our colleagues are writing works trying to decipher the means by which they have developed so many innovative technologies so quickly. What made you decide to go in the other direction? Well, I asked the question a whole lot, Francis, and the honest answer is, I didn't. I only seems that way if you haven't even looked at the title and skimmed the contents. With this, Dr. Flaynard's stalks rose up and a bit and looked around at Francis. Wait. So this book isn't about human failure? Oh, it is, but it is also about human success. My proposal is this. The key to human success is failure. I'm confused. What about the intelligence theory of Dr. Erskine, or the death world pressure theory by Dr. Flad, or even the Gornak theory by the youth training? All fine and good, but I think they missed the point. Let me ask you something. How many ribbed cubs are in a typical litter? About 12. And how many are expected to survive to adulthood? 4, at most. What about the other 8? Well, the parents will typically figure out the strongest and only feed them. A few will die in sibling competition, but everyone knows all of this. The ribbed are typical in that. What does this have to do with humans? Do you know how many humans there are to a typical birthing group? I do not know. They're a new species to the scene. These aren't state secrets or anything, but I'd have to look it up, to be honest. 1. Multiple births is not the norm. They have a 3/4-hour gestation cycle, after which typically one child is born. That's interesting, but hardly enlightening. What significance is that? They expect every child to survive. They have to. They need to. Not everyone does, especially early in their history. But the idea of giving up on a child is anathema to them. So, what does this have to do with the idea of failure? Don't you see? The fact that they expect every child to survive means that they have to overcome natural failures to keep themselves alive and functional. What happens to the crotched child with a weak eyesight? Typically, it would be exposed to the elements to keep the poor eyesight gene from spreading. What happens to a human child with poor eyesight? They get it fixed with lasers. And before they developed the technology to do that, they made contraptions kind of like mini telescopes that they strapped to their faces to bend the light to accommodate the child. They were called glasses. Speaking of which, when did the crotch create telescopes? In the post-industrial age. Humans created their first telescope before the Industrial Revolution. Do you know why they're so ahead of the crocked? Because they had started to figure out how to bend light to make these glasses? Exactly. Their accommodation to their fading eyesight gave them the reason to explore the properties of light and sight as well, before the other races would have thought to do so. Time and time again, the humans of history, their need to accommodate failure and weakness led to incredible breakthroughs. Let me show you a picture. Dr. Flandier pulled out a tablet, showing it to the audience and his host. They gasped and shocked as the twisted figure it shows. The hell? How can a human be that deformed? They kept that alive through adulthood. That man is one of the greatest minds that humanity has ever had. Their star drive is based on principles of physics that he helped uncover. In what other race his existence would have been lived long enough to contribute to science of his people so much? None that I know of. Precisely. And the humans did. They even have the Hawking drivers named after him because of his influence it had. Humans have had just as many flaws as anyone else in the galaxy, more actually, but they are determined to fix them. to save every single one of their babies, and their legacy, the legacy of protecting their failure, has given them a different ways of looking at the universe than any other species out there. Humans' failure is the key to their success. That is what my book is about. Now I'm afraid I have to go. My mate just had gone into labor. Our first letter. I am glad that this book is a bestseller because I'm about to have 8 new mouths to feed. And you know what? I am going to make sure that I feed all 8 of them, no matter what. We may not naturally be like them, but we can learn. Have a great rest of your day. End of story number 1. Story number 2. Humans are weird, darkly chuckling. Written by Betty Adams. Do you remember the rule? 5 clicks demanded as he darted into the biology lab. Cookst did not ignore the base commander. Far from it. He was actually very aware of the flight head's presence as he carefully set his sample of solid but animal protein on the crucible and eased it into the dehydrated oven. No, he did not ignore the base commander as he fluttered around maddeningly around his head. He did, however, choose not to respond until the timer was set and the sample was heating. To what do you refer? Kolch asked, once he had the freedom of movement to turn his primary eyes to 5 clicks. The one you told me, 5 clicks responded, landing so that he could toss his wings in exasperation. About the humans and, giggling. Kolch placed the gripping paw onto the tertiary joint of his opposing limb and lightly tapped his paw on that limb just below the chelicerae. A gesture worked to get the humans to slow down and give more time to ponder, and sometimes even influence the flighthead. I believe that I informed you that it is more of a suggestion than a rule, Kolch pointed out. Also, it was only in an informal document. That's not the vector, 5 clicks snapped as he began darting around the room again. One of the humans has been giggling for the past 15 minutes. What is he planning? Kolch asked, subtly alert. I don't know that he's planning anything, 5 clicks declared. By all appearances, he's simply working on a duty report. Kolch paused for far longer than the normal 6 seconds to ponder this, and for once the commander didn't interrupt his musings. The threat of unknown human behavior was a great inducement to politeness, Kolch thought ruefully. This is concerning, Kolch stated slowly. Perhaps I should observe this behavior. Oh, thank the mother, 5 clicks said as he darted over the nearest screen. Here, I have some security footage ready on the server for you. It should contain all the information you need. I have accelerated the playback so that you can obtain a better understanding of the central issue in the matter. 5 clicks went on as they set the log to playback, and Kolch was about ready to start pulling his sensory hairs out in irritation when it really dawned on him what he was listening to. Stop the playback, he snapped. 5 clicks immediately fell silent and complained. Now, Kolch said, raising a gripping appendage, play it forward at normal speed. The sound played for a few seconds, and Kolch turned and darted out of the room. 5 clicks followed him instantly. What wrong? 5 clicks asked. You are so fluffed out like you just saw a hungry predator. This isn't giggling, Kolch said grimly. No, I can understand your mistake. That is what the humans call a dark chuckling. What is the difference? 5 clicks asked, a note of true fear in his voice. The intent to cause inconvenient interruptions to daily life and an intent to... Kolch stopped at the statement. We need to talk to this human immediately. Very well, 5 clicks agreed. They found the office where the human was working, and an ominous sound was still being produced. Kolch ignored protocol and darted past the privacy barrier, up the human's leg, and only came to a stop when his physical presence interfered with the rapid typing of the human fingers on the keyboard. The human stared down at him in mild surprise. Human friend Steve, Kolch immediately began. What are you doing? Filling out those unnecessary reports that Central asked us for this morning, Human said, tilting his head in surprise. And is this an amusing task? Kolch asked. Ah, are you okay, little guy? Human friend Steve asked with a frown. It's just you seem a little awful rushed. Please answer my question, Kolch cut in. 5 Clicks stared down at the interaction in wide-eyed shock. Is it funny? Human friend Steve repeated. Well, no, it's a huge waste of time if you ask me. Then why are you chuckling darkly? Kultich demanded. Human friend Steve stared down at him blankly for a few moments. Was I? He asked. Kultich indicated 5 Clicks. Base Commander. Human friend Steve called out in surprise, leaping to his feet. 5 Clicks flew down without a word and landed on the console, triggering the playback. Human friend Steve listened intently, and his face contorted to a sheepish grin. I guess I was, he conceded. Sorry for freaking you out. Why, Kultich demanded, were you darkly chuckling? Human friend Steve flushed in embarrassment and rubbed the back of his head. Well, he said slowly, you know those unnecessary reports that we have to hand in by the end of the day? Yes, Kultich said suspiciously. They are a deplorable waste of time and resources, however the rest of the base was done with them by the end of the morning. Well, I figured a little turnabout was fair play, Human friend Steve said with a grin. What do you mean? 5 Clicks asked. My report, the human friend Steve said as he bent under the table and pulled out a massive stack of printouts, is here. He dropped them on the table and reached under for another, and here. He bent down yet again and pulled up a third stack, and here, he declared gleefully. They wanted detail, I gave them detail, every data point, every calculation. Everything. His speech ended in a dark chuckle, in which the tone cascaded into a maniacal laughter. Everything. Relaxed in a slump, and without bothering to respond, walked out the office. 5 Clicks followed him with a final concerned glance back at the human. Well, he demanded. I have work to do, Kultich said, as he dismissive waved. The situation has resolved itself semi-productively, and dealing with the fallout of others' interspecies bureaucracy is not my job. How did the situation resolve itself? 5 Clicks demanded. From everything that I observed of human Steve, Kultich said, he will be content with these retaliatory actions. The base has nothing to fear. What retaliatory actions? 5 Clicks asked. You saw that raw mass of his report, Kultich said, and you can speculate what kind of trouble that will cause for such a smaller mass of the official who requested it. Go to the Human Aggression database and look up malicious compliance. It will be informative. End of story number 2. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. If you wish to support the author, there is a link to the original story, so pop over there and give him your support. If you wish to support this channel, however, there are a few ways to do so. The best and easiest would be to share this video with other people, as well as liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. All of these things tell the algorithm that this channel is at least vaguely interesting, and that may share it with other people. If you wish to support the channel in some other manner, watching my other videos would also help tremendously. Or, if you really like, there is a link down below to leave a tip or to join the Patreon. Any and all support is very much appreciated. And I hope that you all have a good one until the next time, and I'll see you then. Cheers.